G-clamp where you can hook it onto a bow rail or the stern rail, as well as a spigot. With just under 30 inches per revolution in retrieve, it does make for a powerful 1-to-1 ratio of getting that fish back to the boat, and of course with ease. We make sure the drag's set as we already have, and we just keep winding. Another great attribute with the Alvey reel is the 2-handle system. I've got the outside for grunt, 1-to-1 ratio, and the inside one gives me an extra 25% retrieval rate. With the spool being so close to the center with that handle, I can tell you now, makes life a lot easier, especially when you change. You can really get into it. But this fish, he's not ready to come to the boat as yet. Now another beautiful feature with the Alvey 825 deck winch or trolling reel is I can move it to where the fish is going by simply swiveling it in the spigot mount. And of course, the line running through the end of the roller here, I can guide it with the fish as he starts to move around the back of the boat. If I turn that ratchet system off, as you can hear now, there's nothing, it's complete silence. Only the engines of the vessel are going. But if I'm in deck, making myself a cup of coffee and mum or someone's outside looking around, looking at the dolphins, we troll with the ratchet on. You're going to hear that noise, and that alert will tell me something's on the end of the line. Straight back, come on your left, come on the left. This is the beauty of using the Alvey. We can move it wherever that fish wants to go. In this case, down. Go now. That's it, sink it in. That's it.
There you go.
Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks very much, Greg. Oh, well, that's it. The final result of at least half an hour to 3/4 an hour of battle. A lovely yellowfin taken on the Alvey 8¼ inch, trolling a small Pakula lure. It really has done justice. 50-pound line, and I'm sure this fish is going to exceed that by a lot more. The Alvey 8¼ inch, put it on the yacht, put it on the boat, wherever you're traveling, put a small Pakula lure out, and I reckon you may even come up with a fish as beautiful as this. You know, with an influx of people moving to the coastline around Australia, the local reefs are getting a lot more pressure put onto them. Sometimes you have to venture further afield to find new reefs to catch a feed of fish. Well, today we're doing something totally different, and we're going out to what we call the new frontier. Fair enough, it's been here for millions of years, but not many anglers have actually gone out to over 250 fathoms and fished the bottom. That's a lot of line required. That's over 1,200 feet deep. A lot of pressure. In fact, the pressure down below is so immense that it's incredible. It's pretty hard to put it into the brain, I can tell you. Well, Alvey can take us there. Alvey have the 1825, that's 18¼ inch spool diameter Reef King, and the smaller 1425 Reef Queen. They can take over 1 kilometre of 200-pound braid, and that's what we've spooled up with these. Fair enough, we've come out here, the weather's beautiful, and that's something that I'm urging you, if you do come out to these particular grounds, off Australian coastline, make sure the safety equipment is up to scratch. Make sure you let your local authorities know, Coast Guard and of course Air Sea Rescue. And of course we are on a well-known fishing boat called the Cooler Animal. And we're out here with the best of people. Now the rig that we're using, in this case, is quite unique, I can tell you. It consists of 5 metres long of 300-pound monofilament. The first hook we have a slab of mullet fillet, a little bit of glow tube running up that leader and the trace as well, and a very large 15-0 tuna circle. 15-0 is a very big hook, believe me. On this particular rig we have 3 hooks. The next bait we're using is a whole cuttlefish. A beautiful bait, very hardy and natural to these particular grounds. And last but not least, another natural bait found in these areas, octopus. In this case, it's the Ockie leg. Great for jewfish, but I'm sure it's going to work wonders out here as well. And again, that large hook and a little bit of glow tube. Because it's so dark down below, we are lighting up our baits with this glow tube. A beautiful bait. As soon as it hits down, that's going to light up like a spotlight, and I reckon the fish will find it within a few seconds. Now, to get our baits down to that depth, we need a lot of weight. In this case, I'm using 3 2-pound snapper sinkers or droppers. That should get us down there within about 8 minutes, and it's going to take a long time to bring it back up. A heavy weight, but nonetheless, it's essential when fishing in this particular depth. Righto, now the skipper's just informed me we've got some bait on the sounder. We have just moved back upstream, so we're going to stop the boat and I'm going to drop down and see how we go. There's a lot of variety of fish out here. There could be anything from harpooker, which are generally found in the cooler waters off New Zealand, blue-eyed cod or big-eyed trevally, and of course other fish such as green-eyed sharks and gemfish. Let's put it out and see how we go. All we have to do is undo the drag knob, this huge knob here, on the side of the Reef King, and that's going to let the spool run backwards as the weight goes down. So over the side she goes. I'll just feed it down like so. Down goes the first bait. Down goes bait number 2. And down goes bait number 3. Now I just want to control the spool with my hand. And the best thing we need when we are using braid, I'm telling you now, is a pair of gloves. So I'll put these on. We'll get this line down to the bottom, and here's hoping we catch a lovely fish. Gee, that took a while. I'll try this one. Put the Reef Queen out. Down goes the lead. First bait, second bait, third bait, and over she goes. Undo the drag again. I'll just have to sit back, monitor the reel, and wait patiently. Should nearly be there, and she's slowing down. I'll just lock this up. Now that tells me we're on the bottom, and with these gloves, I can grab the braid, pull it back a touch, and now I treat it like a hand line. I wait for the bites, and with braid having no stretch whatsoever, I've got to use these gloves, otherwise it'll cut my fingers, especially when I hook onto a large fish. There's a bite. With these tuna circles, you don't have to really pull back because they're going to hook themselves, but it is best to apply some pressure to it. There's another bite. There we go, we're on. I'll just give him that slack. And now comes that task of winding up. 2 hands, 40 inches per revolution, over 250 fathoms depth. He's big fish. Okay. We're going to be here for a while. Taking line when the swell goes up, and as it comes back down is the best way of fighting this fish. Oh, all right. Keep the line away from the boat and just keep powering on. Oh, it's been a while now. That fish has to be at least halfway up. But like I said, it's really deep water. I've been winding the Reef Queen for a while now. The fish is getting close. I can feel it from the weight. It's starting to get less and less. That means the fish's belly is blowing. The airboat is going to lift it up to the surface. I can see colour down below me. It's a large fish. And with the Reef Queen's 40 inches per revolution and double hander, I can basically do it with ease. A lovely, what we call a blue-eye cod or a blue-eye trevally. A lovely fish. You can see, let's get rid of this gap, how deformed the fish is from the immense pressure down deep. Large fish, big eyes, huge mouth to grab any small crustaceans or fish down that particular depth. 600 metres, the new frontier. Alvey has taken us there. The Reef Queen, the Reef King, we had to come a long way, but I have to say to you as well, please preserve these kind of reefs, because in the future, we don't want to come out here and tell our kids and grandkids that what it was once like. Fish like this, one's enough. Respect them. They are very old. We've got a crew full of people, and this fish is more than enough for all of us. Good on you, Alvey. A nice fish to take home. Beautiful. Now this is a decent fish. G'day. We've just come off to a nice deep reef off southeast Queensland, east coast of Australia. I'm using the Alvey 655 casting, which means I can cast up into the current with a pilly and let it drift back down to below the boat. Now something's picked up the pilch and it's ran. I can see a bit of colour here. Don't know what it is as yet. A couple of head shakes. It's a nice amber. I'll just grab the net. Hello, mate. Oh, here we go. Nice fish. There we go. Now, a fish of this nature, really powerful, extremely powerful. I can tell you now the eating quality is fantastic as well. I'll just get rid of these hooks so they don't go in my hand. Another thing you'll find about these particular fish is they're very strong and powerful. They go straight around the nearest structure or bommy or even pinnacle that's down below the boat. And having the Alvey of a 1-to-1 ratio, what we'll find is we can pull him straight back towards us, which is perfect. Greg, mate, you want to put him on ice? We'll keep that one, mate.
No worries.
Now the beauty of this particular reel, two very powerful handles. I can quickly grab them and take hold. But this on the back here is the turntable, very similar to a surf reel or an estuary reel. We can push the lever in, turn it and cast. Again, 700 metres of 18 kilo line. That's a lot of line. A good powerful cast, it's going to get it up into the current, let it drift back down again, straight into the fish's mouth. Now, the bait that I used was a pilchard. Grab that, gather myself together. And how we bait up is quite simple. I'm going to put the hooks along the body of the fish, like that, and the last one goes in his eye. There we have a beautifully presented WA pilly. Now from here, I wind up the slack. Quite a few boats around here. I've turned the handle, and I'm just going to cast upstream, like that. Leave the reel open so the line can now spool off. And all I do is forget about it. It's going to go down to the bottom. Meanwhile, the other reel that I have set up here is the 825 CV series, which is the big Alvey winch that goes on to the rod. Again, very, very powerful reel. Two different handles. The close one gives me 30% more retrieval rate than the outer side handle. So basically, if I want to get that fish straight to me and quickly, I grab the inside, start turning, and it's going to bring the fish up a lot quicker. And the outside handle, again, download grunt, just bring it straight up, which is fantastic. Now, I've got a couple of hooks on here, and the rig that I'm using is what I call a paternoster rig. And the paternoster rig, well, it's got a couple of loops off it. It's around 80, 100 pound strength, so it's fairly strong. But these loops here enables me to put a couple of different size hooks on. In this case, I've got the gang hook. I'm going to put another pilchard on because this one here just caught a fish before. And the single hook, I'm going to use a piece of squid. Just lay this in here, nice and quickly, like that. Piece of squid. And this will go into the last hook when I find it. Here it is. 1, 2, and one more round. Just like that. Now that bait there is very natural out here. You'll find a lot of squid and cuttlefish cruising along the reefs. And what will happen, being natural, it's going to pick it up and I should catch myself a fish. Just going to drop it over the side here. Now on the back end of the reel, there's a lever that says on and off. Now if I put it off, you're going to find the reel will now spool backwards. There it goes. It's letting the line go all the way down to the bottom. I have to control it with my palm. Remember, we call it palming, just like we do back in the estuary when the fish are running. Otherwise, the line's going to come off everywhere. So when it hits the bottom, which will be probably, a little while away, is I'll take hold of the line like so, with my middle finger and index finger. It'll slow down and stop like that. Push it back into gear on the back lever here, and wait patiently for the bites. That's all you have to do. Now this particular reel with 23 kilo line, which is around 50 pounds, going to take 600 meters. It'll probably take a little bit more, but that's more than enough for us. Now another thing is, if you're going to use braided lines, it's a necessity not to use any monofilament underneath the braid. What will happen is it'll actually bend down, it'll crack it, and the spool will shatter. We don't want that to happen. So if you're going to use braided line, tie it directly to the spool, and from there, just wind it on nice and tight. Well, the rig's down there. The bait's there, I'm comfortable, I've got the reel ready, and here's hoping for a fish. We're doing around 2 knots in the current here at the moment. It's quite fast, therefore we are covering a lot of ground. Nothing as yet. Now when you are moving across the bottom, a good thing that you might want to do is actually let out more line. So we'll just take that up. You've got to keep with the bottom, keep following it, track it. Again, I'm palming the reel. There we go, it's on the bottom again. Take hold and wait for the bite. This one here, it should be near the bottom as well, so who knows, you may even catch another one on that. There's a bite. Here we go. I'm just going to give him a little bit of line. A little bit of line. You can see the rod tip starting to do something. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is a nice one. Powerful. Nice. Nice. Now the sound is showing fish on the bottom, which is a good sign for us. Good fish to drop our lines onto. We've come up a little bit from them. And doing that, the time our lines hit the bottom, something's jumped straight onto it. And something you should do is have a good colour sounder. Find out what's on the bottom, get your bait down from it, work the current out, work the drift, work the wind, and it'll come up in your favour. Nice fish. It's very deep. Got a fair bit of weight to this fish. You can see by the rod tip bending the way it is. A couple of head shakes there. Sort of telling me that it could be another AJ, similar to what we caught on the floater a little while back. Keeping direct pressure at all times is a necessity when you're fishing. Otherwise, with that huge weight I have at the bottom of that paternoster rig, it's going to go down. Here he comes. Fallen victim to a piece of squid. Get the net on this one, he's just lip hooked. Oh, he's gone. Oh no. Well, that's it. Result of a lost fish, but nonetheless, he bit on the squid and it was a great fight. The Alvey 825 will never let you down. I let myself down there. As I said, I took pressure off. Don't take pressure off your fish or that will happen. But nonetheless, It's good fun, direct 1-to-1 ratio, pull the fish off the bottom. That's what we're out here for. I'm gonna go and try another one. Meanwhile, watch what I did wrong, learn something from it, and get out there and enjoy your Alvey Deep Sea series. Now, I've just been out through the Alvey factory. The machines are making lots of things. It's a buzz out there. The people are working hard. In fact, there's one gentleman out there who's had 50 years service. Now, that's commitment and dedication from and to Alvey. Well, it started back in 1920 with Charles Alvey putting the debut of the Alvey reel into the marketplace, and they certainly have come a long way where they are now a true Aussie icon. Nowadays, things, well, they certainly have changed. It's still being run by the Alvey family. This time it's headed up by Bruce and Glenn. The company has exceeded all expectations by changing with the times, grasping new technology and implementing it into the manufacturing of their products. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced angler, Alvey has something to suit. They include reels of all sizes to suit different applications, from the estuary to the beach and of course out to the deep blue sea, and not forgetting the Alvey accessories that go with them. Now, out in the factory, sheets of stainless steel are brought out where huge machines stamp out washers. Metal bars are machined into spindles and screws. The injection moulding machine heats up to over 280 degrees as the spools are moulded to shape and then cooled. The team at the Alvey factory work in a professional manner as they assemble small parts to the backing plate. Insert the drag washers, handles